Is China in a deflationary death spiral? Hello, this is ChartGPT. Today, asked that question about the death spiral. It's been a kind of a common theme. I know the Japanese have been in that for probably a decade or so. But here's a recent CPI and PPI of China, and it's negative. So they're in a deflationary cycle, and it's been coming down for, let's call it a year and a half, because that's from the COVID spike and then down. And people are asking, why is inflation coming in China like the rest of the world? Are they in a deflationary liquidity trap? Well, let's take a look at some charts here. First of all, we all know that the debt in China is off the chart. Their GDP ratios nearing the 300% to GDP mark. You can see the non-financial household government are kind of rising, but they are obviously got a huge amounts of debt issues. You can take a look at the default ratio has been skyrocketing since about 2017, and a lot of that state-owned and others, because that shadow banking gets into the transparency issues. Take a look at the export-imports. They've been falling like a stone since 2021. Just keep going down, down, down in a zigzag pattern. A lot of times inflation is tied to monetary supply. Take a look at their M2 from 1997. It's been on a major climb since the mid-2010s there. It's kind of leveled off a little bit. That might have something to do with a little bit of lower inflation, but they've tried to stimulate their economy and it just hasn't been going. But you get the velocity of money. This is the indicator that indicates where you pass a currency amount. In their case, it's yuan from the butcher to the baker to a doctor or something. It says the velocity, and you can see the velocity is continuing down, which is indicating slower economic activity. Here's the GDP. It was high up in the 8-9% in the early 2000s, and it's just been slowly going down. Of course, we had this zigzag. A lot of these charts with the COVID. They have a higher forecast here, but that's just forecast. For the moment, their GDP is sinking lower and lower. Of course, that transparency issue is a big issue. Here's a chart on, is China becoming much less transparent about its economic performance, quietly discounting thousands of statistical series? So basically, they just don't report it anymore. You can see what they do there. It's falling off a cliff. They're trying to hide what's really going on in China. Here's a chart index for the Hang Seng. It's at, while the U.S. market's at all-time highs, China is getting, I shouldn't say all-time, well, U.S. is, but it's not all-time lows for the Chinese, but recent since the early 2010s. So is it going to go lower? It's going to hit a bottom there, probably bounce up a little bit here. But will it even go lower? Oh dear. So we asked that question about the deflationary liquidity trap, and Japanese got into this, but China looks like they're doing the same thing. Decreased investment, deflation, increased debt, decreased consumer spending, ineffective monetary policy, and then they just circle and it just kind of spirals downward. The U.S. got into that obviously back in the 1930s. Is China reaching that same point? That's an interesting point. A lot of people think that that's true. Well, anyway, we asked the AI what a deflationary dilemma means to an economy. The puzzling fall of demand and technology leaps in great global shift coverage and the threatening the stability of an economy. Take our online poll. Is China in a deflationary death spiral that will end badly or not? In any case, we'll have to watch this in the future. Now, don't forget to subscribe.